Hey, my name is Victor and I'm here to do a tutorial on how to sculpt a MetaHuman head and bring it back into Unreal Engine. Now, MetaHuman Creator gives you some great tools for creating a MetaHuman head, but you may still want to fine tune it. You might want to put it into ZBrush, for example, and do some more tweaking. So I'm going to share this quick method to be able to do this. It's not perfect. It will invalidate the Groom assets that are already in Unreal Engine 5 if you exported the MetaHuman straight into Unreal Engine 5. So you would have to create new Groom assets to do this. And I'm sure there's probably other limitations as well. But for the purposes of this challenge and just doing some modifications to the head, it may work for you if that's what you're trying to do. So let's have a look. So first thing we want to do is we want to export out the head mesh, the geometry. So what we need to do is we need to first unbind the skin. So skin, unbind skin, and then edit, delete by type history, and then file, export selection, and I'm going to name it ada.fbx, and then export it. So then you're going to be able to edit, you're going to be able to add that into your editing software and then edit it, and then we're going to re-import it. So I'm going to do Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, just so I can reattach the skin, just undo all that unbinding stuff so the rig is still working. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to save what we've got here. And I'm going to open FBX. This here you may not need to do because you've probably imported it into, say, ZBrush or something, and it's all, the structure's changed. But if I re-add this in, if I try and re-import this back into the original rig file, because it's in the same hierarchy and same name, it won't actually import properly. So just making some quick changes which you shouldn't need to do. Export selection again, just renaming the name of the geometry, changing the hierarchy. So we're going to go back to the rig. Right, we've got the rig. I'm going to import the mesh that's been edited. So here we've got the geometry. Now obviously it's not edited from my example because I haven't taken it out into any other software, but yours will look different at this point. So I'm just going to do some real quick rough and ready edits so that's very obvious that I have modified the head. So I stretch the face lots. Now we're going to add it to the rig as a blend shape. So select the sculpt geometry. Select, so we're going to go into the shape editor. If you can't find it, it's under Windows, Animations, Animation Editors, and Shape Editor. Then we're going to select this blend shape node up here, the selection up here. Go Create, Add Selection as Target. And that will add a blend shape at the bottom called Sculpt Shape. So now you can see when I drag that slider or hide the sculpt, it will apply a blend shape. So that's the start. Now we need to export it out. This is where it gets a little bit hacky. So what we do is we need to change the hierarchy of the, so there's two hierarchy. There's the head skeletal mesh hierarchy, and then there's a body hierarchy. Now the head hierarchy in Maya doesn't go all the way down to the root joint, and like it does in Unreal. So when you try and import the skeleton hierarchy for the head and the geometry, Unreal Engine complains. So we need to add the extra joints, add the additional joints that are not in there currently. So the way we do this is we take the body hierarchy, copy, Control C, Control V to paste it. And now we've got the duplicate of the body hierarchy. And we're going to take the bottom set of nodes and delete everything else. And I'm going to rename these to DHI head, just so it's consistent. Great. We're going to take it out of that group, delete that group. Now what we're going to do is we're going to drag the head hierarchy with the middle mouse button and drop it on top of Spino 3, and now we've got that the correct hierarchy here. Now we need to create a export selection set. We need to select all the joints and the LOD0 geometry to export. There is definitely an easier way of doing this, or faster way of doing this, if you were to do it all the time using a script. But for now, given that there's not that many joints in here to select, I'm just going to scroll through holding Control and click and select all the joints. Now then there's a whole stack here, Control click on that one. I'm going to scroll to the bottom of these, Control and Shift together on the bottom one to select the whole lot. Now we add it to an export set, Windows, Relationship Editors, Sets. Edit, create a set, and in here, Edit, add selected items. I'm going to rename this Head Rig Export Set. Now we've got the joints in there, we need to add the geometry. The geometry is under Rig, Head Group, Geometry Group, Head Lod 0 Group. These are only the meshes we want. We won't worry about the other LODs. We're only doing a art project, so we don't need to worry about the other LODs. I'm going to add selected items. With those selected, add selected items to the export set, and now we've got that done. So this is now ready to export. Right click on this, select set members, file, export selection. And I've named this Ada Head Scale Mesh FBX file. These are the settings that I use. You can pause the video and have a look at these, but it's pretty close, if not the same as the default settings. I'm going to export selection. Now let's do the Unreal Engine side of it. So what we're going to do is, I've got the blank level here. I'm going to drag Ada, which I've exported from Quixel Bridge already. So under Window, you've got the Quixel Bridge. It's just dragging at the moment. Give it a minute. Here we go. Drop her in. Window, Quixel Bridge, and from there you can import the MetaHuman straight into Unreal. And that will bring in all these assets. So now I've dragged her in. Just going to reset her back to the origin. We've got Ada here. She's actually already modified. I'm just going to go through the step again. So I won't, if I zoom out, the other LODs don't have the modified mesh, so I'll just zoom out so you can't see the modified mesh. So here we've got Ada face mesh. So I've selected the actor in the level, gone to the face skeletal mesh component, found the skeletal mesh for her, and in here what we're going to do is we're going to re-import the modified face mesh. So to do that, we go down to Import Settings, File Path, and click on the three dots here to select the source file. Now it's still exporting at the moment, so let's just give it a minute. Okay, it's exported now, and we can import this skeletal mesh. So we select that file, click Open, and then up the top here we've got Re-import Base Mesh. Click Re-import Base Mesh. Okay, now it's imported. So to check that we've got the blend shape in there, on the morph target preview over here, just type in sculpt or whatever you've called it, and we can see the sculpt shape is here. Drag it up, and we can see that it applies the sculpt. Okay, so what we can do now is save that. And to drive this, what we need to do is we need to go into the animation blueprint for the face. So we go into the face skeletal mesh component, and up above that, where the mesh was, you've got animation, you've got the anim class. Press this little button and it browses us to the animation blueprint. Double click on the animation blueprint to open it. Now I've already done it here, so I'll just start again. In the face animation blueprint, what you'll see is this. Right click, and we want initialize animation. So then off here, we want to execute set morph target. So you're just dragging that pin off, right click, dragging the pin off, typing in set morph target, and you'll find it. The morph target name is sculpt shape, and the value we want to drive it to is 1. Compile, and then you will see that your morph target is being driven here. So now when you go into the viewport, you'll see that it's working. So we've got the blend shape being applied even when we're not playing, which means that if you're doing any posing in the editor without playing, or you want to take images and things like that, all the morph target's working. You will also be able to drive the rig, and it will deform this. Obviously, I've gone quite extreme here. The hair doesn't line up. In some cases, the hair actually does an exploding thing where the hair goes all over the place. So if you create your own strand-based hair and put it in there, it should work. So you can just give it a go, see whether it does what you need. But if you're looking to get more fine-grained control over the sculpt of your face, this may be a method that you can use in your workflow. Thanks for your time.